Thank you for joining us. Today's an exciting day. We don't usually host a town meeting or some type of public forum for the launch of a new product, but it's kind of a historic milestone for us. I don't expect people to understand why, but I'm going to share with you some of the impact of what we've created. And it all goes back to the beginning. And I mean the beginning. And I mean the beginning. Since the dawn of humankind, since we were cave walking, knuckle dragging, humans have either discovered or created ways to change their mental state. Many of us aren't even aware of this. But today, in this lovely current state of affairs in July of 2024, if we're feeling mentally lethargic, we just want to boost our energy, we'll drink espresso, Red Bull, Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, Monster Energy, Red Bull, you name it. You get it. It's not magic. Caffeine isn't magic. It increases your brainwave frequency, allows your brain to think faster. If you're having a tough day and you just, I don't know, you just feel like I need a glass of wine or I need a beer, that's not magic either. That decreases your brainwave frequency. If you feel like, hey, I'm feeling anxious or I have anxiety issues, we'll take an anti-anxiety. If we're feeling like we are depressed, we'll take antidepressants. If we're having trouble sleeping, we'll take sleeping pills. You see, brainwave function and brainwave frequencies are created in our cerebral cortex and our thalamus. So we're really passive bystanders of our environment. And we don't have a lot of self-regulation and a lot of control over our brainwaves. So we as humans rely on external stimulation. Anything from a hug to intimacy to a kiss to conflict to yelling to running to exercise and all the medicaments and external stimulation I just mentioned. And all of this changed in 2009 when the gifted neuroscientist Dr. Blake Holloway brought to the world for the first time ever a way, predictably, to downregulate the frequency of your brain. So the human brainwave, many of you have heard me say this, but I don't think we can talk about it enough because the more we talk about it, the more clarity we have, we can actually change our behavioral pattern. Our brain, your brain, my brain, the person's to your left brain, your spouse's brain, your kid's brain, your parents' brain, all oscillate in a frequency range of 41 hertz. And our behavior is directly correlated to whatever that frequency is. Now, many of us are familiar with delta, theta, and alpha. Certainly, if you've been with the NuCalm family for a long time, you've heard a lot about theta. These three categories are the slow waveforms of our brainwave function, and they are in the sleep architecture. Delta is a certain frequency. It's the slowest frequency. We need to have some frequency or you'll be brain dead and not alive. So 0.5 hertz to 4 hertz is delta, slowest waveform, high amplitude wave. That is commensurate with dreamless-like deep sleep. Your body is in a restoration state. Theta is 4 hertz to 7 hertz. It lies just above deep sleep. It's a lucid dream state. It's the state and the only time that your body heals. The healing zone is commensurate with your cells cleaning their toxins and doing their cellular maintenance, your mitochondria being restored. But more importantly, when your brainwave is oscillating between 4 hertz and 7 hertz, you're mapping and connecting your heart, your lungs, and your diaphragm, and your breath work is at 1 breath every 10 seconds, 6 breaths a minute. This is really important because the body's healing property is oxygen. So when our monkey mind is slowed down and we're levitating just above deep sleep, the body repairs, restores, and heals. This is pivotal, and this is why sleep is so important for us to stay alive. But this is pivotal to lower inflammation, to increase your resilience, to increase your longevity, everything, your health, your wealth, your emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being. All derives from a healthy dose of theta, which is in the sleep architecture. Alpha is a faster frequency, 8 hertz to 12 hertz. That is commensurate with creativity, being in the zone, and starting to fall into sleep. So those three categories are all in sleep. What I like about this, and I think many of us do, is that this is mathematics. This isn't up for debate. It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't say, hey, I don't feel like helping you out today, so I'm not going to let your brainwave go on to deep sleep. This is all math. So the challenge is
Jim, I apologize. I put you on mute accidentally instead of
No
somebody else.
worries. No worries.
Thank you.
So beta is the broadest range of human frequency, and that starts at 13 hertz to 15 hertz, which is awake but not really alert, not really functioning, and certainly not to be inspired by the day. 15 to 20 hertz is the learning zone. It is a specific frequency where your brain is not distracted. You're able to consolidate new things into your memory bank, but also encode, analyze, and process new information. It is a learning zone, and probably the biggest aspect and benefit of that zone is being distraction free. 20 to 25 hertz is a faster frequency, and this is commensurate with stress, fear, anxiety, anticipatory anxiety, worry, agitation, impatience, distraction. 25 to 30 is a higher level of stress, fear, anxiety, worry, anticipatory anxiety, agitation, impatience, distraction. Now think about this for a second. You're having a tough day. It feels like Murphy's Law is against you. A couple bad things have happened, and it's you're agitated. And you sit down and you try to learn something. You're not going to learn anything because you're easily distracted. You're easily distracted. You're probably sweating a little bit, and your brain is kind of darting, and your eyes are probably shifting. It's because your frequency is going too fast. So if that's the root cause, then how do we slow down that frequency? And then 30 to 38 hertz is a high degree of fight or flight. In that state, you are no longer cognitively available. You could make the argument you're barely even human, and you have no resources in your cognition and in your prefrontal cortex. It's all in your fight or flight mechanism. In fact, your eyes look like shark eyes. There's no life in there. Your ears still work, but you can't process information from any of your senses. You are in survival mode and in shock. And then 39 to 41 hertz is the highest frequency range for the human operating system, our brain, and it is commensurate with high intensity mistake-free focus. So if that's the landscape and the operating system of the brain, there are two ways to trick, manage, manipulate, or manage the human brain, and that is visual stimulation or auditory stimulation. Now, visual stimulation, we're all familiar with the old pocket watch and Freud, and this is called a frequency following response. So I'm following a frequency to create a response. The same can be done through auditory. So Blake, in his 19 years of research and development and trial and error and try, took the path of the auditory motor cortex to present the brain with a signal that gently guides or paces the brain down or up. Now, from 2009 to 2021, we were a single product entity, and it was rescue. So our whole spirit of what we were trying to accomplish was to down-regulate the chaos of the traumatized brain that typically results in self-soothing through drugs and alcohol addiction. And that speed in the brain and the person who's really wholly incapable of down-regulating it themselves because of the trauma and the change in the physiological structure and the neurochemical structure of that brain, the traumatized brain. So how this kind of evolved is really simple. It's based on being in the market, being perpetually curious, and the fact that the leadership of our organization didn't invent NuCalm. So we were constantly in this skeptical state and constantly learning. And I remember years ago, 9 years ago, or 10 years ago at this point, I remember speaking to Dr. Holloway and saying, Blake, if we can take everybody's brain, and we've seen it from the active military to professional athletes to pilots to cancer patients to people with ALS, doctors, it didn't matter who it was. It didn't matter your age, didn't matter your demographic, your geography, your disease state. Everybody's brain went to the same place. And we did this and measured this through quantitative EEG, through heart rate variability. You name the quantified tools, we did all of that. So I said, okay, if we can take everybody's brain to 4 hertz, can we take them to sleep? And the answer was yes. Can we take them to creativity at the intersection of alpha and theta at 7.83 hertz? Yes. Can we take them to 18.4 hertz focus? Yes. Can we take them to high intensity, 41 hertz? Yes. So the beauty of working with Dr. Holloway was the answer was always yes. Now you never knew when, you never knew how, but you had a degree of confidence that we could do this. So November 15th of 2021, we launched 3 products on a single day, which is fascinating to me because this is 2021. We'd been around for 32 years and we were a single product entity. Then we introduced PowerNap at the Consumer Electronics Show in 2018. And all of a sudden in one day, we added 3 products to a company that had 2 products for 32 years. How'd we do it? Well, in parallel, we had a 9-year pathway and research path for deep sleep. We had a 7-year pathway for flow state and a 6-year pathway for ignite. So what did we do? How did we do this? Well, the method that we use, which is the only patented method in the world to elicit a state change in a human brain. Think about the profundity of that statement. We have the only patented method in the world that can elicit a state change in a human brain. Now, we did not specify in the patent architecture that we were going to deliver a certain frequency range. We took all of it because we could. So we are using your ears, your auditory motor cortex, to gently and predictably present a pattern to your brain. The complexity of that physics, well, it's 1 to 2 gigabytes of information. And it's a lot of stuff. There's a pitch and a frequency mathematical matrix. There's binaural signal processing. There's isochronic waveform. There's vibration, resonance, biomodulation. But the key, the secret sauce to NuCalm, and this is, it's public domain. It's part of our patent from August of 2021, is a nonlinear oscillating algorithm. Nonlinear oscillation, so it's always in perpetual movement. And the key here, and why Blake was able to do this and no one else has done it before, I postulate that of all the stuff that's been in the marketplace, HoloSync, the Monroe Institute, the David system, the Silver system, and then millions of binaural beat apps, they were created by audiophiles or people who just thought this was a cool thing. And binaural beat was founded in 1839 by the German scientist who basically determined that the brain's going to compensate if you deliver different frequencies to each ear. It's cool, and it just showcases the amazement and the compensatory mechanisms of the human brain. So if I were to present the right ear with 510 hertz and the left ear with 498 hertz, it subtracts the difference and I'm left with 12 hertz. So binaural beat is a delivery. It is a delivery system. Isochronic waveform is a way to deliver a beat to the brain through ambient waveforms. So there are 2 ways to deliver information to the brain through the auditory motor cortex: binaural beat or binaural signal processing, and isochronic waveform. Well, Blake wasn't an audiophile. He wasn't into cool gadgetry or gizmos. He's a neuroscientist. So he kind of, as you're thinking through all of these meticulous designs to the brain, you have to think, I'm going to present the brain with this. The brain is going to do this. Then I'm going to do this. The brain's going to do this. Then I'm going to do this. So for those of you who have wrestled or done martial arts or boxing, when you're studying your craft, you get really good when your brain stops thinking about what you're going to do, because whatever movement you approach, your opponent's going to block and parry or respond with a counter. Well, that's the same thing as you're trying to manage the human brain. So the nonlinear oscillating algorithm, the secret sauce and the key to the effectiveness of this product, has to do with tricking the reticular activating system of the human brain. The reticular activating system of the human brain filters all information from all your senses and your gut. And it determines what your brain needs to process at that moment. If you thought through all the millions of packets of information that came in through your visual cortex, you'd be overwhelmed. So the reticular activating system is the strongest filtration system in the world. It is an expert in pattern recognition and finding shortcuts. So if you present the brain with a simple pattern and stay on a simple beat like 12 hertz, the brain will fall for it the first time. The brain it's a cheap date. It loves audio and it loves visual. Give me one of these and let's go. But it figures out the pattern. And once it figures out the pattern, it builds this resistance mechanism and it gets bored because the RAS wants to work. And it's like, wait a second, I already know what this is. So that is the key to the method. So we developed the method, we refined the method. We had NuCalm 1.0 from 2009 to 2016. We delivered NuCalm 2.0 in 2016 and delivered NuCalm 3.0 in 2020. So for those of you who've been with us since like 13 or 14 or 2010 or 11, you have evolved with our evolution and you've seen and felt the strength of every track we release is stronger than anything we previously released. And part of that was the humility and the constant innovation in our brain as a company. We're constantly moving forward, we're constantly learning, and in parallel, the neuroscience community, we're learning more in the last 10 years than we had collectively in the previous 1,000. So there's always opportunities for us to make improvements, and that's what we've done. So NuCalm 3.0, what we offer today is the foundational physics platform, is so significantly better than NuCalm 1.0 that for those of you who were with us years ago, we started out with 4 tracks: piano, spa, guitar, and strings. They were 30 minutes each, and we had those from 2009 to 16. That's all the choices you had. 4 choices for 7 years. We did over 1 million surgical procedures replacing general anesthesia, listening to those tracks on a repeated loop. The longest surgery we'd ever done was 9 hours. That person just listened to the same thing repeatedly, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes. We don't even offer those anymore for a lot of reasons. One is like when you go into the audio history of us humans, and you say, wow, cassette tapes, okay, they were amazing way back when. And then we went to DVD and then Blu-ray and now just lossless MP3s. Well, NuCalm 1.0 is a cassette tape, and we're in lossless land now. So that's the foundation. Once you develop that foundation, you clinically prove it, you test it ad nauseum, you put it on 1 million people's brains, you look at the outcome, and it's all the same. Then you simply create a derivation of the base physics platform by saying, hey, if I want to take the brain to 0.5 hertz, I cycle it in a different pattern than I do for rescue. So that is how we got here. We have 6 products today that manage the entirety of your brainwave function, 41 hertz. You could literally, if you wanted to do an experiment, put on your kitchen table prescription medicine, recreational drugs, alcohol, caffeine, antidepressants, anti-anxiety, exercise. And on the right-hand side, you could have a mobile app with a headphone. We've replaced all of those needs for anything because you can manage your mental state directly, like a thermostat, the old school thermostat that you would dial. So today's products, we have deep sleep. Deep sleep is for deep sleep, and it cycles your brainwave down to 0.5 hertz, and it facilitates the onset of sleep. We have 8 and 10 hour tracks. If you've kind of gotten used to the 50-minute track, start weaning yourself off of that because we will no longer be offering that. Probably next month, those will go away. They'll go away because there's no sense in keeping them in the world because nobody should be sleeping for 50 minutes. We simply launched them because we didn't know that we could accomplish an 8-hour track, but we did, and we just kept it in there until now. So the 8-hour track and the 10-hour track is deep sleep. Then you have rescue, our key therapy, the anchor of our technology and everything we built it around. This takes your brainwave function to 4 hertz, and 4 hertz is the deepest realm of theta and the highest level of restoration. And as we all know, there's a 30-minute, a 40-minute, a 50-minute, a 70-minute, 100-minute, 120-minute, and that's great. And it doesn't, you don't have to worry about, hey, if I hit 120, I'm going to be in there for 120 minutes. You're not. And we all know that when your brain's had enough recovery, you simply come to and you wake up. So that is rescue. PowerNap, we built off the platform of rescue, but we wanted to truncate the time for 20 minutes because we felt like in our world and as we're traveling the earth, telling people about what we've accomplished and what we've created, and, hey, we've changed the way humans can govern their mental state, on demand, no drugs. Okay, that sounds amazing. How do I do it? And what do I need to do? And you tell them it's 30 minutes and they panic. So we built PowerNap out of necessity to help people create habits. It had no physiological benefit. There was no science behind it that says, hey, we need to bring a 20-minute track to the world. This has everything to do with meeting the consumer where they're at. And so PowerNap is built on the structure of rescue, but it's a truncated version. Kind of equate that to maybe fresh squeezed orange juice is rescue and concentrated orange juice is PowerNap. And then we have Focus. Focus is 18.4 hertz. With a headphone, you listen to it, and it literally hones your brainwave function at 18.4 hertz and oscillates it between 15 and 20 hertz. And within a few minutes of listening to it with headphones, there's no distractions in your brain. So we just keep you there. And this is the learning zone. And if you're familiar with the Pomodoro technique, if you're really good at managing your brain and you have good posture and good coldness in your room and your eyes feel good and you're hydrated, you can stay in that zone for about 15 to 20 minutes, maybe 25 if you're an expert. Well, with physics, we can keep you in there for 60 minutes. And many of you who use this find this to be a brilliant tool because you're highly efficient, you don't make mistakes, and time flies. Flow state is fascinating and really popular. Flow state does not take you down into the deepest realms of theta for restorative healing. Flow state holds you at the intersection of alpha and theta, which is a specific frequency, 7.83 hertz. Now, 7.83 hertz is also the magnetic resonance and the rotation of the earth. It is the vibration and the oscillation of earth. So any of you who ground, take your socks and shoes off and you stand on the earth for 30 minutes, what you're doing is you're picking up the Schumann resonance in the earth's magnetic rotation. And Nikola Tesla years ago stated, hey, the human body cavity also oscillates at 7.83 hertz by design. This isn't by coincidence. So that area kind of cleanses bad thinking, negative thought patterns, procrastinations, obstacles that we kind of put in our way of creativity, and it flushes it out and allows you access to a state of flow and creativity. That's flow state. And then you have ignite. Ignite is 39 to 41 hertz. The last 3 minutes is pure 41 hertz. We activate the gross motor cortex. We activate the sensory motor rhythm. We activate your peripheral vision, your olfactory. We'll put you in a position of absolute certainty to achieve anything you want. And that sense of absolute certainty gives you the confidence, and you don't have to worry about insecurity, self-doubt, muscle memory, and all the stuff. You know, in athletics, they say, if you think, you stink, because it's all, a lot of it is through here. Your training and your muscle memory knows what to do, but it's our mind that kind of gets in the way. So that's the landscape of our product offering today. Why we did it was because we wanted to find a safe, predictable way to down-regulate the human stress response by simply slowing down the brainwave frequency. So you go right to the root cause, which is fascinating to me. I have no idea how Blake kind of came to think through this whole process, because who would even think that we could do it this way? But that is the method and the why of how we've done what we've done. So today is a monumental day for us. It's a monumental day, and I know Blake, wherever he is smiling and his heart is glowing, because for years, we tried to torture the physics of rescue to bend to our demands, and we failed. But in the last 2.5 years, we finally succeeded. We've taken the strongest, most therapeutic, restorative, reparation, rejuvenation product in the world, and now we've truncated it to take care of contemporary society, where our to-do list often gets in front of our desire to take care of ourselves. Now we're giving to you, in 20 minutes, the strongest recovery your body can receive, and it's amazing. So some of you understand a little bit about our platform and how this works, but we have something called the down ramp. We also call it the departure lounge. We, as a species, have a central nervous system and an autonomic nervous system, and our central nervous system has something called a locus of control. Its primary objective is self-preservation, and it does not relinquish control, ever, because it needs to protect us, always, even in our sleep. So the central nervous system would not allow us, as an external stimulation, to come in and just hijack your brain and like put you on an elevator and press theta and take you there in seconds. It doesn't work that way. So the first few minutes of every track, specifically rescue, we are taking you down and we're taking you up. We're seeking permission from your locus of control, your control matrix, to allow us the opportunity to take you on this healing journey. Rescue, before today, it took us 8 minutes to accomplish this. 8 minutes to gently, safely guide you to the healing state of theta, that deep restorative zone of lucid dreams and slipping in and out of consciousness. That's where we tortured the physics, and we bent the laws of physics, and we have pushed that and truncated the time of our down ramp. On the upside of every rescue track, there's a 4-minute elevation so that you don't come out of it groggy. So we truncated that as well. So in the current portfolio, the platform, if you want a little more secret sauce, here's how the mathematics work. 8 minutes down, 4 minutes up. So it's 12 minutes of preparation down and bringing you back up. And the difference of the track is pure theta, that's cellular restoration. So for rescue 30, it's 18 minutes of pure theta. For 40, it's 28 minutes of pure theta. For 50, it's 38 minutes of pure theta. You get the idea. You want to be in that pure theta for as much as possible. So what we did was we tortured and bent it it acquiesced to our demands. And we built a 20-minute track. It's 20 minutes and 48 seconds to be exact. And it's just under 13 minutes of deep cellular restoration in theta. So this is our gift to humanity in the current state of affairs where everything seems off. We seem to be out of balance as a species, as a planet, and there's just a lot of fatigue, existential angst, confusion, isolation. We're here to deliver in 20 minutes a really powerful antidote to all that's ailing us psychically in our pain. So rescue, same modality of anything else we would do for rescue, flow state, or power nap. Find a safe, comfortable place, put an eye mask on, your great pair of headphones. I have tested this for about a month. The experience is amazing. It'll be unique for all of us. I love the track. I haven't been able to hear it in its entirety. I've even tried to listen to it ambiently, and it mellows me out too much. My experience has been that this 20-minute rescue is really smooth. For those of you who were with us back in the day when we had transdermal cream that was applied to your carotid, and we had stimulation devices with neural patches behind your ears, that was a great experience. It was a really deep experience. And then we went to the disc. It was just smooth. I remember the first few times evaluating the disc, and I remember talking to Blake. I said, this is just a smooth entry into this just beautiful state of bliss. This Rescue 20 is doing that. It's just a really smooth entry into this deep state of bliss. And you go. Now, granted, I've been traveling way too much, and I'm kind of falling in and out of consciousness as soon as I put the headphones on. But last week, I had just moved, and I flew from Florida to New York, and I did the Rescue 27 times on my 2 flights. Fascinating. So this is going to be a really powerful experience for you. I did loop it a couple times. It doesn't make sense. Why would I loop it? Because why would I waste time in the down ramp, do the up ramp, waste time in the down ramp, do the up ramp when I could just do a longer rescue track? But I did it because I wanted to just feel the experience time and time again. It's amazing. You're going to be so happy. You're going to be thrilled with the outcome. And the time is right for a lot of people. A lot of times we don't have 30 minutes in the day. We just don't. And so this is going to be that replacement. And it's just, you're going to love it. Now I want to switch gears for a second here and speak to the differences of rescue versus power nap. Because power nap is power. It's like a power source, it's like recharging your battery. Power nap is built on the physics platform of rescue, but it is not rescue. We wanted to bring to your brain and to your autonomic nervous system an incredible healing opportunity, but we had to do it in a truncated version. So power nap has a down ramp, has an up ramp. They're a little longer than the Rescue 20. But we added, because Blake was an incredible alchemist, and we were just, it's almost like, I think it feels like Back to the Future. You're working with Doc Brown. You can do anything. And we were like, you know what? We don't want people to get up from a 20-minute experience and feel groggy. So we added several frequency elements from Ignite in PowerNap. That's why when you get up from PowerNap, you have a little extra giddy up in your step. So PowerNap is not Rescue 20, and Rescue 20 is not PowerNap. And how would I kind of describe both of these? Rescue 20 is for today's human brain. We are all in a state of exhaustion. We're coming out of the post-COVID era. We're still trying to find our new normal. The geopolitics, the environment, it's just chaos. Power nap is for when you want to kick ass for the rest of your day. It's that interlude and that battery recharge. Rescue 20 is longevity, resilience, lowering inflammation, cellular health, taking care of myself in the near term, the short term, and the long term. Power nap is, hey, I'm going to get a little taste of recovery, so I'm not abusing myself as much, and it's going to give me that battery recharge to go and crush the rest of my day. Those are the two ways to look at this, but we're all different. You all have your behavioral pattern, you all have your kind of creature comfort with NuCalm, but your neurophysiology and neurochemistry, which are different all the time, they're unique to you as well. So I would say, hey, try out the new Rescue 20. Try it out several times. See how you feel afterwards. You come out of Rescue 20, and there's a incredible clarity, but there's a comfort. It's like a soul cleansing or a intersection of peace right in your gut. And so you go about the rest of your day, and you're I wouldn't say you're impregnable to stress and agitation, but you're in a really powerful place of resilience. Whereas power nap, I get out of power nap and I'm just like, let's go. I want to conquer the rest of my day. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we've done, why we've done, how we've done. Rescue, power nap, and flow state still require an eye mask. Why? Because we're going against the inertia of the human brain. When your eyes open up in the morning, hopefully with sunlight, unless you're a third shift worker or a long haul pilot, your cortisol is at the highest level, and then your body and your mind are ready to go. Hey, I got a to-do list to do, man. I didn't get my to-do list done yesterday, so it's piled on today. In fact, 2 days ago, I didn't get it done either. So you start your day. And in the afternoon, you hit that lull, and too many of us reach for accelerants and coffee and espresso and Red Bull and Monster Energy when we really should be paying attention to our body and having greater self-awareness and take care of ourselves. We should go do that 20-minute or 30-minute. But when we're doing this, your brain isn't interested in a nap during the day. It's not interested at all. It's got too much to do. It's too much to worry about. So we are going against the inertia of your brain. That's why we need the eye mask for power nap, rescue, and flow state. And that's the only reason. We don't need an eye mask for focus. You're awake, you're working, we're just honing your focus. We don't need an eye mask for ignite. You're awake, you're focused, and you want to go work out. You get in the zone. And then with sleep, you're sleeping in a dark room. So we don't need an eye mask for any of those three, but we do need an eye mask for the three that are actually going against the inertia of your brain and what your brain wants to do and has been conditioned to do. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we are so happy and honored to be delivering to the world for the first time ever a 20-minute rescue. This is the intersection of our innovative physics and our ability to deliver continuous improvement and amazing products, but really to meet the consumer where they're at, and that is take care of you in 20 minutes, which, as we know, if you're into math, is 1/72nd of the day versus 30 minutes, which is 1/48th of the day. And we look forward to your feedback. Amy is the architect and the organizer for the masterminds. We love people's feedback. We don't get it enough. That's just life. We're all too busy. We know you think about us when you're NuCalming and enjoying deep sleep and all that stuff. So welcome to Rescue 20.
Okay, if there are any specific questions about Rescue 20, you're welcome to come off mute or post one in the chat. There is one here from Mary, who is a longtime mastermind user. And while it's not specific to Rescue 20, it may be great to address this, Jim. I've been using NuCalm for 2 years. Why has the effect started waning or stopped? Currently, I'm not noticing any difference. When I use Rescue, I have monkey mind and it doesn't turn off, whereas before it did.
Awesome. Well, Mary, welcome to balance. You are getting healthy. I know. Bummer. Okay, so when you first try Rescue, we're literally resolving you of a lifetime of built-up stress. You don't even know you're carrying this stress, and it is profound. And for a long time, it's profound. And then it becomes commonplace, not because we've normalized dysfunction, but we've balanced your autonomic nervous system. The physics of NuCalm, all of it, has a nonlinear oscillating algorithm. This algorithm creates a distracted mind as you're in the product. So you'll notice as you lay down, it's in the morning, your cortisol's high, you're laying down for a 20-minute power nap or now the 20-minute rescue, and your mind wanders. That's by design. The only time your mind doesn't wander is when you fall in and out of sleep. So the fact that there's been a dissipation in how profound the experience is has nothing to do with, hey, it's not working. This is physics and math. It always does what it's intended to do. The fact is you're getting healthy and you're getting in balance. And so for me personally, I've been using this product every day for almost 16 years. There are many days, not many enough, that I'm actually home consecutively. And it's simply, I just lie there and yeah. But when I'm traveling or I'm under a lot of stress, the profundity is there always. So it's a direct correlation to your current stress response, health, well-being, nutrition, and sleep. But the fact that you're just experiencing your monkey mind and your mind is distracted during NuCalm Rescue, welcome. Welcome to good health, balance, and balance of your autonomic nervous system.
Okay. Just a quick housekeeping question about if there's a recording, and yes, we will send it out over the next few days. And someone already tried Rescue 20. She must have automatic updates on her phone and she likes it. So hooray, good for you for opening your email right away. Thank you. Oh, here's a great question. If I introduce someone to NuCalm for the first time, what track would you recommend for them?
That's a great question. And I don't think we're going to have a answer that's unanimous in consensus. Two things that I would answer that with. Number one, Rescue is the most powerful product in the world. There's nothing that will ever compare to it. And I say that not only because I'm the biased CEO, but I know Blake and I know our medical advisory board and I know how much we've tortured the science and no one's able to figure out what Blake created, and we have a 34-year head start on humanity. So no one's touching what we've done, and Rescue's the strongest. But it really comes down to the personality of the person you're introducing NuCalm to. So if the person you know to be a little bit on the anxious scale or going through a tough time or whatever, you know these folks, I would definitely entertain using Rescue, but it's got to be the right environment. Otherwise, if they're kind of high performers and they're go, 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 I would probably do the 20-minute power nap. Either of those two will have a profound initial experience. And if I'm doing Rescue, I'm probably not going to gyp that person. Remember, the first time your brain is introduced to Rescue, we are absolving you of all the pent-up stress you've created in your lifetime. And it's a lot. So the first time someone does Rescue, there's a profound, overwhelming experience. And they get up and a lot of times they're like, I have no idea how I even feel because we haven't felt relaxed before. So it's really up to you. I would choose either Rescue 30 or longer for someone who you know is kind of in a struggled state. And I would choose probably PowerNap for those that want that 20-minute restoration, feel good, but also are looking for that, wow, I feel really clear and I can go about my day and kick butt.
Sorry, I was typing a response. You answered Katie's question, and these are all mastermind members, so they don't have a monthly subscription, but keep in mind that we do have that 7-day free trial, and you're welcome to, I put the link in the chat, you're welcome to send it out. We do find that it helps if you share your personal feelings about Rescue or everything that Jim talked about, but we love it when people try our product, and if you use it, we know that they will love it and stay with us.
It's that simple. NuCalm works.
It really
It doesn't
is.
work if you don't press play.
That's
And
right.
we've built this business and built this family and built this path to solving human stress through word of mouth and through sharing the love and attention we all have. And it's one of those products that once you try and you start kind of learning about it, it's so fascinating. You can't help but talk about it. And one of the biggest challenges we've always had as pioneers is that there's no point of reference to NuCalm. So you sound like an alien, and it literally shuts down that person at a cocktail party or Thanksgiving because they're like, what are you even talking about? They can't understand it. Our job in the marketing approach is to simplify, simplify, simplify. But the trial is really easy. And if anybody tries the trial that you kind of are saying, hey, just try this, make sure that they use Rescue. and deep sleep. Those are the keys to beginning that help. And I'll just give you some advice from someone who used to be in the advice business doing therapy in the State Mental Health Institution of Massachusetts. Just because we want to help somebody, just because we love somebody and care about them, if they're not ready and we're not meeting them where they're at, it's just frustrating. So instead of putting a lot of time and attention into it, maybe taking a passive approach to say, hey, you should check this out. It's worked for me. It's worked for a lot of people. I love it. Try the trial. When you're fully invested and you put a lot of time, energy, and effort into it, there's just a strange psychology to it. For whatever reason that is, we just are wired the way we are. So maybe a passive approach and just say, hey, check this out. Or some people are usually enamored by, hey, this is used by the military or professional athletes. You kind of know your audience and you kind of have to figure out how to best meet them where they're at. But we love the word of mouth. We love the sharing. Sharing is caring and NuCalm is caring. So thank you.
One more question that I just want to make sure we address, because this is a very this is an issue close to our hearts. What would you recommend for someone who just had a brain trauma and has short-term memory loss?
Boom. Rescue, 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 rescue. The more rescue we can get on that brain, the faster we slow down the inflammation response. The faster we slow down the inflammation response, the faster we heal, and the less destruction in the physiology and the chemistry of the brain. So I'll give you an example. Blake was one of the leading psychotherapists for triage for the federal government. And I remember back in, I think it was 17 or 18, there was a mass shooting in Orlando. And he was down there in the psychotherapy tent, well, it was just on the news. The faster we got NuCalm to that brain, the faster they heal. So TBI, concussive, whatever's going on with that brain, get NuCalm Rescue on as much as possible. Deep sleep's a nice complement, but rescue is really the key to slowing down the stress response.
Okay, and then I was just typing a response to Katie. We have a few more minutes left. She was just mentioning that she wants to share this with a recently retired Olympic athlete and personal coach. And I don't know if you want to speak a little bit about how we work with a lot of professional and amateur athletes and what they use this for in particular.
Yeah, sure. So it all started in 2011 with the Chicago Blackhawks. And it was all predicated on restoration. So mental and physical recovery, these athletes work really hard. They know their bodies really well, and their body is their currency. So when they're pushing hard, they're filled with cortisol, they're filled with inflammation. And so NuCalm was pivotal for the restoration, the healing, the recovery. We could see this all the time through the ability to rapidly heal and recover from concussion, shoulder surgeries, whatever. So repeatedly through tons of sports teams, we'd hear, hey, the medical team would call us and say, hey, how's this doing this? Well, it's really simple. Slow stress, you slow inflammation, you increase healing. So it started there, and then as we progressed, we launched Ignite specifically to the Department of Defense, elite military operators, and professional athletes. They all had to sign an NDA, confidentiality agreement, and in 2017, we were working with athletes. So now we had the recovery side with rescue, and then we had the Ignite side for getting them prepared for battle. And you could see that a lot of the athletes would be wearing headphones, and they're listening to Ignite to prepare them. And then also in the bus on the way to the arena, in between on halftime or in between periods. And now it has evolved to this whole kind of pathway where you wake up, if you didn't get enough sleep, you'd get back in bed, you do PowerNap. Then they'll start their day maybe with Focus or Ignite. They'll do their stretching, whatever they do. They'll work out. They'll use Ignite during their workout. They'll use Rescue for their recovery after their workout. And then if they're playing a night game, they'll do Ignite on the way. And then at night, it's deep sleep. So we have a whole protocol and a daily plan for professional athletes. Amy can probably share that with you.
One more question that I think is really important that I'm hoping you can address since we're all so busy. If I can't take a break during the day, what's the best way to get rescue in? Should we listen to it at bedtime to fall asleep, or listen to it while working, even though I can't wear the eye mask? That would be like ambient on a speaker. Or should I wake up 20 to 30 minutes earlier, even though I'm already waking up at 5 a.m.? Any tips on how to fit it in or get 80% of the benefits of rescue?
Yes. I'm going to go with door number 3, Alex, because that is probably the best way. Listening to it ambiently will just mellow you out. And I'm not sure what your occupation is, or I'm not sure what your demands are, but typically getting into a state of mellow and really coveting that bed and wanting to experience rescue, I don't particularly like. It will have some impact, but really you want it to be laying down, an eye mask and a headphone. So we typically have always said, hey, if you can't fit in your day, the best thing you can do, and it's almost antithetical or oxymoronic, get up 30 minutes early, use the restroom, get back in bed and do that power nap or do the rescue 20 or rescue 30, because it will build your resilience tank. It's like a piggy bank. And every day that you do it, you'll find yourself having greater patience, presence, mental clarity, and endurance throughout the day. So it does take some getting used to, but we've been leveraging that and doing that for more than a decade. Before COVID, when everybody had to be somewhere, that was kind of the method that high performers did on a regular basis. So get up early so you have the benefit and the safety of your bed and use it. And you'll notice, you do this a couple days in a row, you're going to notice, wow, I'm performing at a really high level and I have a lot more endurance. Even after dinner, I'm still ready to go. At nighttime, it's okay as you're winding down to put on rescue ambiently, because it's just preparing you for sleep. But we would definitely recommend deep sleep with a speaker for your bedtime routine.
Okay, I think we've answered all of the questions. So if there aren't any more, we'll go ahead and start to prepare the recording to share for everyone. Do you have any closing words for us, Jim?
Yes, so excited. Are we scientists and nerdy neuroscientists? Yes. Do we understand the magnitude of what we've just accomplished? Yes. That's not why we're excited. We're excited because we know people are busy, and we know people will give us 20 minutes so that they can take care of themselves, as opposed to putting up an obstacle for 30 minutes. So we kind of finally were able to take our world-class product offering and our platform and all of our collective wisdom and torture that into a 20-minute rescue. So this is such an exciting day for us, and we know that you're going to love it because it is awesome. And it's really powerful and smooth, and just, it's like smooth jazz. You're just going to be cruising through your day. Nothing's going to bother you. Boom.